10 more. So hopefully they will join with us. But thank you for being here and for kind of sharing some holiday stories and things with us. This was more about just trying to get people together who might not be able to make it to our holiday party and hang out and just share and talk about life and any questions that y'all have and on again. But we were going to start talking. Well, first off, and Maury, y'all heard about this, but Murray might have to run out at some point. We had a tree fall on our house during one of the rainstorms, and we have discovered a lot more damage than we anticipated.
It's been a can of worms.
Yeah. Yeah. One morning when I'm downstairs cooking bacon and Murray turns on the shower upstairs and the water starts pouring through the light in the kitchen, that's a bad sign right there.
Yeah, that wasn't like that before.
No.
That was new.
It's the waterfall feature that you pay extra for now in homes. It's so special. But we had a great Thanksgiving. We went to see my son in over in Ole Miss in Mississippi and spent some time with him. But we were just wondering, did any of y'all drink anything particularly fun over Thanksgiving or have any like great time experiences? No?
I was in New Orleans, and so I had my fair share of cocktails, my favorite being the Via Carré.
Oh, yeah.
And I've realized that I have to come to admit that I love the idea of the Sazerac, but I don't actually love it.
New Orleans, I mean, New Orleans can be a great wine town, but it's just there's so many fantastic cocktails. Did you stay in the French Quarter?
We stayed just outside the French Quarter. We usually stay in the central business district, on points.
Sure.
Husband's hotel points.
We tried. Yeah.
I was gonna say you'll appreciate this story. I actually introduced your wine to Clarice, Gary's Vineyard. It was a 2021, I believe. To my cousin. So that's what we had for Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, wonderful.
No. How was it tasting?
It was great. It tasted, I mean, as it opened up, it just got better and better. So
cool. We don't have any more of that at the winery. So whenever we hear people having it, we're like, ooh, tell us more. We have no idea.
Who was it that opened a 19 and a 21 side by side? Yeah, customer Robert Funky in St. Louis. And it's been interesting to see those of you who have them. I think the 19s and the 21s are very parallel track and seem very similar to one another. So it's kind of interesting to follow that. I think 18 is most like the 23 vintage that that we're shipping or have shipped to some of y'all already.
Good job.
But we ended up going out to a bar late one night, and there was a chugging, drinking college song that we decided to see if we could keep up with the college kids a little bit.
That's a mistake.
Yeah.
It was.
It was less of a mistake for me because I was drinking cheap beer. It was more of a mistake for Murray because she was drinking double Jack and Cokes. Chugging double Jack and Cokes versus Coors Light. Coors Light was fine. I was okay, but
yeah, that drink was gone before the end of the song, and I'm like, no, this isn't how I'm supposed to drink this. I'm not supposed to go down this quickly. And then so we were still there for a bit, and so Adam goes back to the bar and brings me another double Jack and Coke. So okay, this is number 3 now, and it was like 3 and 45 minutes. It was a little bit, I know.
And then the new rule was no singing.
Yeah. Actually, some college girls came up to Murray and said, will you dance with us? And then asked,
I had just enough double Jack and Coke in me to say yes. And
then asked her if she was a junior in college because they didn't know her. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, oh dear, thank you, sweetheart, but no.
We are we are heading on a trip too. We wanted to ask y'all this in the holiday spirit, if y'all are going anything or place or having anything fun, but we are going to go on a cruise starting in Barbados and ending in Aruba,
That
beginning
sounds terrible.
on, yeah, I know. It's beginning on the 14th and coming
next
back on the
Saturday.
22nd. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we fly out on Thursday and we go to Bridgetown and then we're kind of getting away. So that's why if you see all of these notices when we send something out saying if you need wine, order it by the 11th, part of that's the shipping deadline, honestly, with UPS and FedEx. But part of it is our deadline because we're going to be on a ship somewhere and not be able to send you anything after that. But
Yeah, actually, one of our Clarice members, Gary and Shirley. Shirley is a travel agent who specializes in cruises, and so we told Shirley, "Hey, this is kind of what we're thinking, where we want to go, and here's our dates and our budget." And then she sent us like a plethora of options, and so set us all up for that, and that. We weren't really planning on talking about it, but it's something that Adam had just recently set up, was a Clarice member referral page. And so, so if you're in a position where you can offer a service, whether it's just local or, if you're able to go national or more, but, we're promoting on the website, your services for other Clarice members. We've done some awesome trips in Chateauneuf and Oregon and Bordeaux and these Clarice member events. I mean, there's a lot of people who are starting to recognize each other and being like, oh my gosh, here's Maura and John and da da da, or and so it's becoming a little bit more of a family. And so we wanted to be able to give members the opportunity to connect with other members, and then also have someone organize your cruise for you, or do your taxes, or
yeah, so that is something that we have asked, and we've gotten a few of those, and it's being posted online. We'll go with it and send it out to everybody, and it can be updated whenever. But if you do have a job, but I think it could also be like a hobby. Like Murray's mom is a Clarice member, and Murray's mom, although she doesn't sell them, she's great at knitting and that kind of thing.
very crafty.
So, but like Gwen, for you with the SLH, we'd love for you to not that we don't already send SLH events out to people, but make sure then that people could, your connection on there, and people can get tied into all the different stuff that you're doing with Santa Lucia Highlands as well.
Yeah, I think that's such a cool idea. I mean, who doesn't love a referral, that like gives you okay, I know this is trustworthy. I know I can find what I need here. Like I think that's such an awesome idea. Thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting to know all these people and seeing what I can take advantage of,
As long as you're talking to Gwen, and this not to put you on the spot, but I know that for the San Lucia Highlands, the big event, the big tasting we do every year, we've moved the date by like a couple of weeks, right?
We have. In fact, I finally got all of the materials to send an email today. I was about to send it, and then I remembered a sponsor needed me to change their logo and whatnot. But the new date, we've moved it up 2 weeks, and we're intending for it to be to the future date. It's going to be a much better date for our chefs. It's a much better date because there's so many conflicts happening in Monterey County, in Paso at the same time. But the date for 2025 for the Windy Wine Festival is Saturday, May 3rd.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of y'all have been or who has been, but it is, I think, one of the best tastings out and around anywhere. It's absolutely fantastic. You see really the real producers in most cases there pouring. The bites, the food that is provided is some of the best chefs in restaurants in Monterey County. And it's a lot of fun. There's music, the whole thing.
It gives you an opportunity to actually go to the Santa Lucia Highlands, because usually when you try their wines, it's from direct to consumer, direct from the website. or maybe out in Monterey. I mean, there's not really any tasting room opportunity. And so, in that area. And so it gives you, the firsthand feel going down River Road and then turning down River Road and then turning down River Road. And, I mean, it's a unique opportunity, which is fun.
So a few other things that we have coming up. We sent out something about our blending party on February 15th for any of you who might be able to make it. This is going to be the first time that we have done this. I played with something like it for Siduri folks, a couple of small groups. It can only be done at certain times of the year where the wines have not already been blended. But we wanted to give you all a chance to see what we go through when we blend. So we're going to have a big event tasting of different possible blends on Murray's wine, and on my wine, we're going to split people up into teams. You'll be assigned to a team of 4. You'll get samples and beakers and graduated cylinders and the whole thing. And your group of 4 will work on trying to come up with a blend. And then, so we'll end up with 4, hopefully, I think, what do we have? How many groups? I don't know. Enough wine, basically. So Murray and I then will go through and taste the blends. You'll have like 45 minutes to do that, and we'll do a blind tasting of the blends and award prizes to the person who does the best job blending the Russian River and the best job blending the San Lucia Highlands options. And then we'll have lunch, and then we'll have a tasting of some brand new wines, stuff that had just been bottled, hasn't been released yet, including Murray's new 24 rosé.
The rosé will be back, and then also, I know, right? Finally, and a Cabernet.
Oh,
Yeah,
exciting.
I know. Yeah, Sonoma Valley 2023. So yeah, they're all. I mean, it'll be bottled 2 weeks before the event, so I do reserve the right to
It'll be poured.
to argue with him about whether or not it's ready to go out into the public yet. But yeah, excited to share some new stuff with you. We might have our Etienne wine in town by then. So so yeah, that could be an exciting opportunity, but we'll see. That might be a little hopeful.
Yeah, we're rushing to get things in. We've got all of the importer license and everything on that. So hopefully we can have that wine in time for the event as well. But it'll be a lot of fun. We'll sit down and do a wine tasting, and we're going to have a Greek lunch as well. So I hopefully some of you might be able to make that. And then we are doing our trip this year is to Paso Robles. We're going to be going down to Paso. Those of you who've been on trips with us know we kind of every other year do a big Europe trip or someplace far away. And then we do someplace, we did Oregon, and now we're doing Paso this year. But to try to do someplace a little bit closer and hang out. And so we'll do that. What are those dates? Into June, I believe.
Yeah, it was after the Father's Day Sunday.
Yeah, let's see. June.
No, oh yeah.
June 22nd to the 27th. And so we've got hotels already figured out. We've got transportation already figured out. We're just working on restaurants and wineries, and then we'll publicize that for everybody. Probably realistically early to mid-January that will get people out. But if y'all are interested in that, mark it on your calendar, because we're going to hit some really, really fun places.
Well, and Adam had mentioned, I think in a couple of emails ago, that we're getting married next year. And thank you. And so he, along with Gary Francione and the Francione boys and a couple of other guys, are heading down to Paso for his bachelor party in January. So I'm like, okay, you have to do some recon and try to find like the best tasting rooms, the best restaurants, and for our member trip. So he's gonna find ways to have a lot of fun. And we'll get to re-experience it in June.
There is so Bruce Psalm's Kitchen. Yep.
If you've never been there, it's 12 people. It's a small place, but it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, our group hopefully will be 20. That's going to be one of the harder things, is figuring out how we make things work. But we always did, or always, we learned our lesson and give people a night to themselves as well. One night. We always, prior to that, had scheduled like every single night, and people were like, okay, we could use a night away from us, basically.
Or wine.
So Bruce, what was the name of that? I'm going to Paso next week. So what was
Yeah,
that?
may not be able to get in. They're usually sold out several months in advance. It's a small little place right on the downtown square called Psalm's Kitchen. Ian's the proprietor. He both cooks and serves wine, and it's really educational. It's about learning. It's usually a 7 or 8 course with 10 to 12 wines paired, and it's all about learning. So he's great.
Okay.
How long are you there?
3 days in Paso, and then we're going to Santa Barbara for 3 days.
Wonderful. You're all set, or not completely, obviously?
I called that place you gave me Full Draw. Is that?
Yeah, Full Draw. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got something set up with them.
Okay, good.
When is, sorry to interrupt and jump in, but I know Full Draw, Connor and Becca in Paso Robles, right?
Yeah, so we're talking he's heading to Paso. So Sasha here lives part-time down in Paso. So I mean, you ask and an expert shows up right away. So,
On
really
time.
incredible.
Right.
That is
Right on cue.
the Clarice member benefit.
That's right.
Concierge service.
Just in time, real time, white glove. So well, let me know if I can help with that. I don't know if have you scheduled an appointment with them already?
Yeah, I've got a pretty full schedule, but I don't know. Always open to new ideas. You got
All right. Well, we'll talk offline. I'll get your contact info, and unless everyone is going on that.
No. But Sasha's going to be helping us a little bit with our trip at the end of June as well, with recommendations and places that we can bring in and people in and do that. So that's great. We asked Sasha to come on because Sasha also is our partner in Etienne, in our project from Lirac that y'all were offered the wine on there, and
The Coronati wines.
the Coronati, and we're really excited about getting those on the way over here and getting them in. So Sasha, thanks for coming in and being part of this.
Well, thank you for the invite and the warm welcome and serendipity of hearing Paso Winery. So
Sure. You so I know now I mean, this is kind of internal really, but I don't think we have anything holding us up right now, the paperwork and the FDA and everything. So I'm going to be talking to him tomorrow, but I think we should be able to get things on the water really quickly to come over here. Yeah, it's going to be
can't wait.
Many of you had a wine from Lirac before? Anybody?
Not a lot.
Not that I remember.
Chateauneuf de Pape, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. So Chateauneuf is right across the Rhone River from Lirac, so they're right next to one another, and kind of through the I guess the fates, the way history worked out, Chateauneuf became better known and got recognition. What, Sasha, how much earlier? It was a good bit earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before the war. So it was 1936. Chateauneuf had their paperwork together. They were one of the first AOCs. It was led by a guy named Baron Leroy. He was sort of a diplomat of the region and married a woman from Chateauneuf and said, hey, these wines are really good. We should be nationally recognized. So championed that. They got a head start before Lirac. Lirac was shortly thereafter put in their paperwork, but a thing called the World War set that back about 8 years. So I think they ultimately got it in, I can't remember exactly. I think it was 45, 46. Don't hold me to that. But it was basically after the war that they were able to do that. So a fast follow and one of the first Rhone, Côte de Rhone villages to be acknowledged by the government in that way. So quite prestigious, or prestigious, I guess some would say. So that's a little bit of the background.
So the grape types of our blend, the Coronati that we offered to you all, it's 40% Grenache, 40% Syrah, and 20% Carignan. And absolutely fantastic. We were thrilled that we were able to come up with this reserve, because we're only going to make that Coronati wine in the best years. And we have no idea if we're going to be able to make one in 2024 or not. Really, the word we're getting from a lot of vintners is how tough the year was. But then the people that we're working with were saying, oh, it's incredibly tough, but we are so thrilled with the quality and how it turned out. So we're really excited. We're going to be heading over at the end of March to do our tasting and blending and see how that turns out.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have those wines over here by then, and
yeah,
be exciting.
And y'all will get a chance to try them and taste them. So that will be an awful lot of fun for you, hopefully.
So what are those wines as far as, like, aging? How soon will they be approachable to drink, or,
Sasha, your thoughts, having tasted?
So to me, they're in line with Chateauneuf, Dupop. So I think they could easily last, or they're meant to drink early, but you can, if you have patience, you can certainly wait 10 to 15 years, no problem. And I think they're long lasting for sure, especially the reserve. What I love about the Rhone, particularly Chateauneuf and Larac, is that they're easily accessible early on, and they don't have a lot of tannins. They have a lot of finesse and exuberant fruit. But if you wait, there are dividends if you want to, but it's not sacrilege to have it early. And I think Adam Murray and I were really happy with how it tasted early on, and feel like it will be very expressive. But I'm also confident with the corks that we picked that they will age for well over a decade. So that's our thought.
We were advised that people generally aren't doing this with the wine from Lirac. So Lirac, for a lot of people, a lot of producers, is an area where they look at it and say, oh, we can make something a little less expensive, not because of anything other than the prestige, just historical of the region. And so people are putting it under like corks that probably aren't as long lasting. And so Sasha and Murray and I went with, it's called the DM10. Is that right, Sasha?
Yeah, I think we did 10 or 15. Yep, we went.
And that's how long it's supposed to live. That the cork is supposed to be good for at least for 10 or 15 years. So we are working really hard to elevate, both in public consciousness and just in general, the wines from Lirac.
So, Sasha, a lot of people here know about Adam and I and how we came into wine and our roundabout way. And I think you also have a little bit of a roundabout way. I mean, kind of being in tech, but then now here you are, a Rhone winery, and after Downstream and Philippe. So do you want to give, because our members are going to be hearing a lot about Etienne and you, and so I'd love to have a little
a quick blurb.
A little autobiography for you.
Sure. So basically, I fell into wine totally by accident. I'm from Michigan, went to school there, and so I got I graduated, but had a minor in beer. We drink a lot of beer there, not wine, and the wines in Michigan were not that good. But when I came out to California in the mid 90s, my mentor's father was making wine up in Napa, and he was over 70 years old, award winning, and he asked if I could help. I said yes. And fortunately, my homework was a case of wine, in which I had to drink his wine, a bottle a night, with my girlfriend, now wife. And so that was my introduction. I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. This is only an hour and 15 minutes from San Francisco. So that's how I kind of fell into it. Started making wine in my garage, and made Chardonnay from Kent Ritchie's vineyard, which was really fun. If folks follow that, in Russian River, and then did some Old Vines Infidel. So leapfrog, or fast forward a couple decades, I had started my own winery. I worked at Google and Yahoo during that time. So my paycheck was high tech. My passion was wine and winemaking, and still to this day, I want to flip it at one point, and maybe ATN will be the vehicle in which I can do that. But since then, as I mentioned, did Eno Wines, which was a super small winery that did SLH Pinot Noir, which folks from this group know all about, Old Vines Infidel, and then Rhone varietals. And I fell in love with the Rhone, fell in love with Chateauneuf, worked a harvest there, and became close friends with Philippe Combi, who was a business partner of mine for a project called Downstream, which was made with Justin Smith from Saxum. I don't know if folks know Saxum. I can't remember. Yeah. So that was a great experience, and that was called the Zinfandel du Pape. It was old Zinfandel blended with Grenache varietals or Rhone varietals, and Philippe wanted to do a project, and I was happy to do that. He also wanted to meet up with Adam, and he did Beaumarchais. So unfortunately, as people know, Philippe passed away, and Adam and I got together one stormy night and drank too many bottles of Chateauneuf and talked about Lirac, and decided that we would do the opposite of what Philippe did, which was he came here, we're going to go there, and work with his handpicked successor, and really elevate and celebrate that region. So really excited about ATN. I've always wanted to make a wine in France, and certainly with folks like Adam and Murray, it's a dream come true. So
It's actually, we just happen to have this right behind us on the wine rack. A bottle of Downstream, a Magnum.
nice.
Yeah.
That's the 19. That was the last year we did it. I don't know. Has anyone, I don't know, had Saxum wines or happened to hear of Downstream? I mean, it was super small, so not expecting anyone except for maybe Adam.
The press,
John has you. Yeah.
John, you're muted.
Yes, I was looking for the wrong one. Anyway, yes, it's been a while, but I think I've had it, and I certainly have heard of it over the years. We lived in Sonoma County for 15 years, and we had a lot of Napa experience as well. So yes, I'm quite sure we've had it and loved it, but it was a while back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic wines, and our opportunity is. Murray tells a story about when she and I first met, and we met on a Zoom or like an online thing that Hall did, and it was with Gary Francione and Mark Pizzoni and me, and Hall put it on, and Murray was the producer for all of the videos. And at one point, she asked, or had Megan, was it Megan? Megan, the winemaker, ask each of us, what other area would you make wine? And Mark and Gary both gave very political answers. Oh, I love the world of wine. It's so fascinating, but
SLH is home.
SLH is home, and I can't imagine making wine any other place. And Murray was expecting that answer from me. And I'm like,
well, we were getting together to talk about the SLH. Like, it was all focused on the SLH. And so yeah, then Adam doesn't say the SLH.
I said the Southern Road. And if there's any other place, you asked the question, is there any other implying that we weren't there? So I took it literally and I said, and it apparently created a bit of at least a memorable moment.
Yeah, well, it did because so as Sasha mentioned, Adam and him, Adam was coming up from Santa Barbara in the winter time and there was a big storm and advised to stay in. And Adam was like, Sasha's staying in Paso. I'm just gonna stop and stay at his house. And he's making dinner, gonna open up some wine. I'm like, cool, have fun. And I knew that he was having fun because I didn't hear from him for like 4 hours, where he's always texting me, oh, hey, I miss you, or oh, we're eating this, or oh, did you see this email? Nothing, crickets. I'm just like, well, I know he's safe, so it's fine. And then he called me again, at the end of the night and, definitely had a couple of bottles of some, strong Chateauneuf. And
they're not low alcohol wines generally. They're in Chateauneuf.
And then he was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, how's Sasha? Oh, great. Yeah, the kids' food was good. And we're going to make a wine in Larac. We're going to make a wine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what are you? Drink some water, take some aspirin. I will talk to you in the morning. Like, I'm not going to try to talk about, starting another winery in the south of France. Like, it's the same hemisphere, same harvest time, so different. Anyway, yes, okay, drink some water, take some aspirin. I'll talk to you later. And then in the morning, he calls me and a little tired, but was very much like, oh, Sasha's great and things were fun. Oh, and we're gonna make a wine in Larac. I'm like, oh crap, he remembered. I was hoping he would have gone to sleep and forgotten about it, but in that time is when I remembered that story about how he said if he could make wine anywhere other than the Santa Lucia Highlands, it would be the south of France. And so, I mean, how could I take away his bucket list? So I'm like, okay, what does that look like? And how does this work? And so we just had meetings with Sasha, jumped on Zooms, and we're like, okay, he's cool. That was fun. That was easy. And then we met with Simona and Jeff, our hands and feet on the ground, and they're absolutely lovely and have the same standards to farming and cleanliness and flavor and
the commitment to quality and everything.
Quality is us, and so green light and so it's just been green light, green light, green light. So now all of a sudden we're registering for colas and getting our importer's license and have a bottled wine sitting there in a warehouse in Larac waiting for us to bring it over and share it with all of you. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
And thank you, Sasha, for being one of the catalysts for this project, because I mean it's a really absolutely wonderful region, and in the same way that we know that all of you here appreciate the quality that Adam brings from the Santa Lucia Highlands. I mean, that's the same kind of quality and focus and passion that we're trying to bring and share and show with you with Larac.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take over. You're the MC, but any questions about that, or wines that inspire you from that region or regions, that activate you around the world? Gwen, I know you like SLH, so I won't. That's probably so. Yeah, but anyone.
It's in her contract. She can't say anything.
Right.
Oh, Barolo. There you go.
Barolo.
Yeah.
Barolo and Barbaresco.
Those are certainly fantastic wines that really don't get replicated elsewhere. But I mean, Gwen, one of the things that, sometimes with our SLH focus and what you do, we spend so much time talking about Pinot and Chard, we forget some of the Syrahs and even a little bit of Grenache and stuff that Santa Lucia does so well.
And some Gamay. I just got a little Caraccioli shipment. We got a new bottle of Gamay. I got we have some leftover stuff in my back room from our luncheon a couple weeks ago. Little Sierra Mars Syrah from Odonata. Some little nuggets down there, right?
Rory did a Gamay too. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I have not tried that one, I heard, but not been privy to that. I'm gonna have to talk to them.
It was quite good. Yeah, you need to talk to Gary about that.
Yeah, I'm not apparently in the
Or
inner
Nick.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick's holding back on you.
Uh-huh.
So we did want to mention, actually, I will brag briefly. Murray was very excited and said, I've been too calm about it. Owen Bargren, who's a great wine writer, very in-depth, very detailed, out of Washington State. He just tossed the 23 Clarice Garys in his top 100 wines of the year. That came out 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah, on our way to blending.
Yeah,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
yeah. No, very, very excited about that.
Mhm.
Really excited about how 24s are kind of showing. Although the Clarice wines still haven't gone through ML, but one of Murray's wines has finished two lots from one vineyard.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, Olive Sexton, half of Lakeview.
okay. Have finished ML, and we tasted some stuff yesterday with some customers, and
Yeah.
I was blown away by the quality. I was really thrilled. 24 was a very, very different year than 23, a warmer vintage, while 23 was a very, very cool year. And I think it's made for very forward, wonderful wines, but in a more forward style. I think we might be telling you to drink your 24s while you're aging your 23s. We'll see if that's turns out to be true. It's pretty young. It's kind of like, looking at your baby and saying, oh, this one's going to be the president of and this one is going to be a bank thief, and this one's going to be, it's premature making judgments right now, but
based off of how cute they are, definitely president.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got 3 kids. People all the time are like, you can't, as a winemaker, what's your favorite wine? They're like, oh no, you can't answer that. It's like your children. You can't answer who your favorite kid is. And I'm like, yeah, but I have 3, and at any moment I can tell you which kid is my least favorite at that particular moment, because there's always one that's doing something somehow that's not exactly what you want to have done.
Yeah, especially with yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very exciting, and with the 24s, like Adam said, different vintage, but also, I mean, for me, I'm getting more comfortable with the process and more confident in my palate for the winemaking side of things. And so I did things differently than I did the previous years because, it's just, more experience and knowledge. So it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to sharing those with you.
Yeah,
but
very much.
That's, not for some time. Sorry for the tease.
It's fun. I mean, it's fun. Everybody wants to know what the new vintage is. There's what is it in the jerk? They're trying to serve like 81 or 61 Lafitte, and he's like, I don't want any of that old wine. Give me the new wine. That's more exciting, and that's kind of how we are with new vintages and stuff. It's always fun to have them out and to be excited and to see something new. So, I mean, we're kind of getting the end of this. I mean, this has just been kind of a fun holiday hangout, but wanted to know any questions, anything you want to know at all about the wine world. Between Murray and myself and Sasha, we are full of opinions, not necessarily knowledge, but we have plenty of opinions on things. So is there anything going on in the world of wine that y'all are like vintages in other places or wine writers and what's happening there? I mean, any questions at all that you want answered, we can try to do that.
Well, this isn't necessarily the wine world, but when's the wedding?
Yeah. March 8th in Las Vegas. We have gone through a lot of different iterations, a lot of different changes in timing and all of that. and after going to my Christian, my son's wedding in September, which wasn't huge, but it was close to 100 people, we looked at it and we're like, oh my God, no, I don't want, we don't want that. We were talking about it, and there was just so much trying to do things yourself and clean up, and required sobriety to do certain things, and it was like
Consistently.
yeah, it was like no.
Yeah, and so we were flying back or driving somewhere, and I was like, we're gonna be in Vegas 3 times, like, before harvest next year. What if we just got drunk in Vegas and went to a chapel and just handled it that way?
Mom would kill me, her mother.
And that's what he said. He was like, I'm for it. Your mom would kill me like every time I tried to see her. Like it wouldn't just be one failed attempt. Like for the rest of my life, she would consistently try to kill me. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, fine. So mom's going. All right. So it's you, me, and mom. And then he was like, well, then I want Gary Francione, my brother, there. And so then, we kind of built out this like
family and a few select people.
Yeah. And then when we found the restaurant to have it at, then we were limited even more by that list. So yeah, it's going to be a more quiet ceremony, but there is going to be an option to live stream based off of the chapel that we're getting married at. We can have our own minister. So Matt Rivlett, Adam's handpicked successor for Siduri and good friend of ours, is still going to marry us.
Oh, that's cool.
But then there's a link to tune in, and so you can watch Adam cry as he shares his vows and all this stuff. And yeah,
I will undoubtedly cry. I already start thinking about things, and we'll be doing that. So Brian, you sent a list over here of places that that you're going to be visiting in quite the list here. Down in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, 5 days. So not only a couple of days.
Where are you staying?
It's the Cork.
Okay, sure. Hotel Cork.
Yeah, in Solvang.
Owned by the casino folks.
Wow.
You can get a bus ride at any hour of the day or night over. If you have a gambling need, you can go and jump on a bus and do that. It's a nice hotel. It's probably the nicest hotel there in Solvang. So really good place.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture of this, and then how about I email you with some suggestions and
awesome. Any feedback? I found these forums to be pretty good. People always have been out and traveled about. So anybody have any thoughts? I'll shoot my email address in here.
Sure. Yeah. Toss it in there, because a lot of people have been down to Santa Barbara, and obviously we, with the Dial Tone and Busy Signal wines, we're down there quite a bit making some wines down there. So we can definitely help out. There's a place, what's SY Kitchen? If you haven't, if
we're going there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not on your list. It's one of our favorites in the area, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's Los Olivos, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of out in off the beaten path. There is a place actually called Taste of Santa Rita in Los Olivos.
That's a good idea.
That's a place that is not they pour wines for wineries in the Santa Rita Hills that aren't open to the public. And it's Michael and Marlene. Yeah, really wonderful people that are the owners. So we can definitely help set you up there too.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Looking forward. I won't make it up to the SLH or Paso, but maybe next time.
Sure. We would obviously love to have you in the San Lucia Highlands, and Paso is gorgeous too. So
yeah, it's on its way. So you can take a pit stop.
Yeah.
That's right.
One thing that's kind of news and gossipy and all of that, but it's kind of fun, is that Virginie Boone, it's been announced, but Virginie Boone, who was the wine writer for Wine Enthusiast for a while, has done a lot of other things, has started to work for Jeb Dunnick. That's been announced, but she is now going to be covering the San Lucia Highlands, the Santa Cruz Mountains, Anderson Valley, which there is actually no other critic that I can think of that does like really true inclusive Anderson
I
Valley.
think Suckling just did
Tastings.
something, but that
Oh,
was
you're
new,
right.
yeah.
Suckling did
Yeah.
that. Jim Gordon
But
did
that was new
It's brand new.
too. Yeah.
So you're seeing some expansion of coverage there. She's also was down in Argentina recently, and there's just that's a new person that's going to be out writing about these areas, and so that's kind of fun. And then relatively new, he's already had one thing out, but Billy Norris, he's had two things out, is writing for Venice now. And Billy came and spent time in the San Lucia Highlands and in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And without like slamming any other critics, I think he did as in-depth a job as anybody has ever done on the Santa Lucia Highlands. And so I think he is someone else to keep an eye on, because I think they're really he's doing some good stuff. So I would pay attention and look for those people.
I have a business question.
Yeah.
So Duckhorn just sold their
Yes.
portfolio.
Yeah.
And part of it's because their share price is way down, right? And
yeah.
So I'm curious what you all think about. Are people going to be pulling up vines next year? Is volume so down across the state? Is it specific regions? What's 2025 look for volume and the industry as a whole?
Yeah. Someone's at the door, Morgan. You got a package.
Wine delivery.
We know that.
Yeah, we do know that. It's a great question. I do think there has been a lot of stuff that has been is being pulled out more in the Central Valley right now than there is. I mean, without knowing right off the top of my head, I do remember, and Sasha, I don't know if you know the answer, but there's still like a huge amount of grapes in California that really come from the Central Valley. It's a giant percentage. And so I think some of the excess will be taken out there. But there is some stuff going on in some other areas as well. You're seeing some things being pulled out in Santa Rita Hills and in Santa Barbara, in part because you can grow strawberries and other things there as well. So I do think we are going to be in this period of time where there is more supply than there is demand for at least a couple of years. That's not a great, answer. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. We're working on it. I think you're going to see some really high quality, less expensive wines out and around, but these things come and go without a doubt. Does that help at all? Okay, cool. I think people are starting to need to go sign off and everything, but we wanted to thank y'all for your support of Clarice, of Etienne, of the ventures that we're doing, the dial tone and busy signal, and really just for being kind of a family, a group that we like getting together with, and we appreciate all of y'all for being members. And we hope to do more things similar to this and more other things like where we're doing the sharing of people's information. We're hoping to do more of these during the coming year. So we appreciate you all. We hope you have a happy, very, very happy holiday season. Cheers to all of y'all. Have a good night. Thanks. Thank you, Sasha.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks,
guys.
Merry Christmas.
Well, thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
See y'all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.